What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker,
Amir, Rahimi,
and today on The Great Debaters, man, one of my favorite and the best albums in rap history, we're talking about Eazy-Duz-It, Eazy-E. Get ready. Alright, Amir, so we're in the reality that 1988 is the best year in rap history, and here's yet another example. Eazy-E, Eazy-Duz-It. This album just was monumental in my life because lots of people look at Straight Outta Compton, rightfully so, as a phenomenal piece and one of the best rap albums, and it is. But I prefer Eazy-Duz-It, and Eazy-E to me is the guy. He is the one. So, that being said, today we're going to go through and pick our top 3 songs on The Great Debaters, and usually Amir and I are able to relatively easily pick, when we do the top 3, our top 3, or at least get a top 4, maybe 5. But this album for me, and I imagine for Amir, is very, very, very difficult to pick the top 3 songs because there's so many phenomenal songs on it. So without further ado, Amir, how did you take this album in the first time you listened to it?
Oh man, yeah, this is what I was looking for when I was in middle school, something like this. And I'm happy I got this very early on in my listening career. I don't know if you want to call it that, but dude, so we actually had another Great Debaters episode where we were talking about which do we prefer, Eazy-Duz-It or Straight Outta Compton, which Soren and there chose Eazy-Duz-It and I chose Straight Outta Compton, but they're just such amazing, amazing albums that either answer, you're a winner, right? But this album, it's going to be, and I actually don't know his picks at all. I know nothing about what his top picks are, so I really want to know. And for me, even as well, there's 5 songs in particular that I know they can change at any given moment. Really depends on my mood, what I want to hear. Because another thing that's important, and this is actually going to be in my picks, is the reason why I say it really depends on your mood too, is because, as we've talked about many times in previous videos, in this era and around this era, we had dirty side and we had clean side, or we had clean songs and dirty songs. Even though the front of the album said explicit lyrics or whatever it said, there were still parts of the albums that had clean parts. So that's why I'm saying it really depends on your mood at the same time, because you want the harder stuff, or you want the still amazing and well produced but not as hard lyric wise. Anyways, I'm gonna get into one of my picks, the title track, Eazy-Duz-It. Wow. So okay, so this is like a hard one to describe because there's just so much going on. There's really, like we've talked about, flavor in terms of just how many tracks they're using on the production end, and I really couldn't even guess. I know it's in the double digits, you know, I know it's that, but is it 20, is it 30? Who knows? Dre is so amazing at producing, and even in this they say Dre is on the beat, Yella's on the cut, now listen up while I rip shit up or whatever. So first of all, just that intro of Michelle A, who when I was really young, I didn't know it was Michelle A, I just thought it was like a little kid.
Me too.
And then he's like, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here. It's like, what? Like, how do you do that to a kid? But no.
Or a woman.
Or a woman. And it's dope because years later you see someone like Slim Thug just sampling that part and making it into a song. Just sampling that 5 seconds and making it super dope when, you know, it's just like iconic. And they're not thinking about this, they're just like, this would be
Master
fun.
Ace too.
And other people, Master Ace. Anyways, then you get to the actual song and you get that little bridge of them singing, St. Dre's on the beat, Yell's on the cut. And throughout the song, you're hearing Eazy-E's flow change a little bit, where he's saying, collecting my riches, like his flow is different in that little 5-second segment, whatever it is. And then you hear Dre's production really change throughout the entire song. So sometimes it will keep that same bed, other times it will switch, he'll add elements, he'll drop elements, you'll hear snaps, and it's just like, once you, I don't even know how to describe it. Like I was talking to Soren, I don't know how you can even describe something like this. You kind of just have to really listen to it and appreciate it and really have a good sound system to truly know what the hell you're... incredible.
It's a sonic marvel.
It is.
And, you know, just not even including Eazy-E's magnificence on the song, if you just listen to the instrumental of this, which unfortunately I never have, but I can just imagine it's just like a roller coaster of all these different things going on. You can't even imagine what's coming next, and every time it just blows your mind. That it's just astonishing. And I don't know what else you got to add to this, but this is also one of my my favorites, because Eazy-E is so maligned by so many people. Like, oh, he wasn't a good rapper. Oh, he couldn't flow. Oh, he didn't do this. Oh, he didn't do that. Really? Because if you listen to this album, especially Eazy-Duz-It, the song, he's got styles, he's got charisma, he's got everything that you would want in a rapper, whether he wrote the lyrics, whether he didn't write the lyrics. If you guys are smart and pay attention, I don't think any rapper ever has written 100% of their lyrics. So everybody gets some sort of help, suggestion, notes, revisions, whatever. He clearly got it more than most, but that's fine. He wasn't trying to be a rapper. He ended up being a rapper.
Correct.
And his style, and on Eazy-Duz-It in particular, his blend of, as I've said in our other great debaters and elsewhere, you know, his blend of humor and gangsterism and sex talk and all this stuff that he did, and street stuff, it was just such a magical combination. And Eazy-Duz-It arguably is the best illustration of it on this album, because like Amir was saying, with the clean songs, he doesn't get as vile or raunchy, of course, because he's limited by not being profane and using profanity and explicit lyrics. But when he does, and he explores that, and the NWA crew, you know, whoever's writing a particular song with him, for him, or however they ended up doing it, Eazy-Duz-It is just one of those examples of the musicianship, the lyrics, the creativity, the different voices, the different styles, the different beats. It's like an album on one song almost. The power and the potency of this song, Eazy-Duz-It, is so, it's just off the charts, man. It's phenomenal. And it really shows to me why this album is so powerful, because this song is literally in the middle of the album. We've gotten through 7 songs or 8 songs or whatever it is before we even get to this. And it's just, it's incredible that this song is in the middle of the album. It's astonishing. It's astonishing. But we could talk about this song forever, but we got to get to the other 2. So Amir, what's one of your other favorites?
Dude. So yeah, it's hard to put into words, but we did to the best we can. It's just it's literally a marvel, like you said.
It's astonishing.
Now, I can really just freestyle and say this song, or I can say that song, and I can go. I might regret this, so no one hold me to it. But I'm gonna go with Radio on my next pick. And one thing I really like, and we've touched about this, it's like I'm a broken record, but I just like to further drive that point. I really like sometimes when rappers and groups will set a preface for the song, whether it be in a skit that preceded it, or it's on the actual song itself. And I think Radio sets up the concept perfectly, and actually they do that a few times on this album with maybe one of my other picks. We'll see how I feel after this one. But Radio, where MC Ren calls in, and it's a radio station. But even before that, you hear someone kind of, you know, switching the dial on the radio, and you hear them pay homage to other music too. Like you hear NWA, you hear EPMD, you hear Public Enemy. Also albums that we've talked about, which you should check out on Great Debaters. But they're sending that preface, and then you hear Eazy coming in, giving in just radio rhymes and talking about like the scene, and then you also hear him pay a little bit of homage to Run DMC on the lyrics, and it's just so well thought out, awesome lyrics, and the beat is freaking dope. And then even in the third verse, after that concludes, they're also keeping up with, and throughout the song, they're keeping up with the whole radio theme, right? Which I love. But then at the end, you hear other NWA affiliates and people who produce and were also not in the direct, like, NWA, Dre, Yella, Ren, Cube, Eazy, but also we get DJ Speed, Stan the Guitar Man. You hear them on the outro.
Stan the Guitar Man.
Stan the Guitar Man, who did a segment, which I'm sure Soren like talk about on Unique Access. But so one thing that I thought was also very clever about this is Stan the Guitar Man, he's like, hey, I want to know when I'm going to get paid for this. And he says mother, and he's about to say motherfucker. But then, you know, this is another genius thing. Instead of letting him say that, this is the radio cut, so they cut him off right at mother. So there's just like little things like this that they all have in their head to make this song just that much better. And then you hear the girl talking about DJ Speed. You know, it's like, shout out DJ Speed too. So I think this is just one of those just super well produced, very well thought out tracks, a perfect concept from 0 seconds to the final second. It's just brilliant.
And then also got to shout out Greg Mack,
yes,
who helped in a lot of ways make a lot of the West Coast spread faster by having the songs on K-Day. So we got to shout him out. I did a great interview with Greg Mack on Unique Access and always have a lot of admiration and respect for him because he's integral to the spread of Los Angeles rap, period. And for that, we all should be eternally grateful. Radio is just another one of those examples where, again, Eazy-E is just so charismatic on this song, and they're kind of tongue-in-cheek playing with their hardcore side, but then they're also showing that they can flex and do something without cussing, and the production and the execution of the song is just brilliant. It sounds like an actual radio show with a song interwoven, but then there's also girls. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
And it's not one of my top 3 picks, but it's such a great song, and it was very special to me because of, ironically, people like Eazy-E and NWA, rap got so profane and so explicit so quickly because of their success that songs like Radio became less and less frequent in general, not just for them and their crew, but just rap, period. So it was, as somebody in '88 who had been listening to rap for several years at that point, and then to see the shift of the content of the lyrics, thanks in large part to Eazy-E and NWA, it was also cool to see that they, even at the time, were conscious of making these songs that did have profanity and those that didn't. Which is a perfect segue into one of my other picks, which is Easier Said Than Done. That's my, possibly has one of my favorite lyrics of all of rap history, which I'm about to say right now.
Okay.
But the beat on this song and the style and everything is amazing. But when Eazy says, yo, I don't do dope, but I'm dope, not a dope, but I'm doper than anybody who tries to cope. When I first heard that, and every time I hear that, I get so happy and so excited because, again, even if this was before Eazy-E started getting dissed for all these things I don't agree with, but right there, you know, the flow, the style, the wordplay, everything that goes on with that little passage, to me, showed why Eazy-E was so good. And I just love that little thing in the song. And, you know, even though he alludes to the mystery about how old he is. Yeah. They got the gunshot, even though there's no cussing in the song, so they're still showing the gangster element. And the beat has that very weird, quirky sound and feel to it. It just was one of those examples at the very end of profanity-free rap where we saw it done, to me, on a production, lyrical, execution, every level at the highest degree. And for that reason, I always love that song, and it's one of my favorite songs ever, period. Like, I just love Easier Said Than Done, and it's just amazing, man. And to have no profanity coming from the kings of profane rap was a brilliant irony, in my opinion. Well, what'd you think of that one, Amir?
Dude, it's amazing. Like you were saying with the profanity, it's like they were known as the world's most dangerous group, and this is the world's most dangerous group. It's not even cussing on like almost half the album.
Right.
So it's like what? And these are the people who also are putting out like "Fuck the Police," and they have a song like "Radio" or whatever. So, and also, I like how you brought up the age thing, because in a couple parts of the album, he says he was born in '73, when clearly he wasn't born in '73, because if he was, then when this album came out, he would have been 15.
Right.
So it's like, it's just Eazy-E just further being the mystery man, even like you've seen in interviews where he'll show up in a robe, or he'll show up with like a mask, or he'll come in with like a crazy ass weapon, like a sniper in one, or whatever it was in all these interviews. He's just like, who is this guy? He's iconic, man. But my last pick, and this is another one where I really wonder what Soren's last pick is, because I want to talk about all these songs, but oh well.
So I take it Easier Said Than Done wasn't in your top 5?
Easier Said Than Done was actually not in my top 5, which just shows how deep this album is, because this is an amazing song.
Yeah.
So my third pick is gonna be No More Questions, and I was really, honestly, I was really debating between this one, Nobody Move, which is another amazing concept song, and then also Boyz-N-The-Hood remix. It's like, what the hell, like, how am I not even picking that song? It's amazing. But for me, like, No More Questions is another one that I really like, another great concept song, which they're pulling off, like, it's so easy for them, and they're not even related to each other in terms of like subject matter. So this one is more in like the interview perspective, where he's got a female interviewer, and then he's like playing a cool, like, believe that, like he's just, dude, he's so great. And then the production, I just love this production on this song in terms of what Dre's doing in the first verse, and then the second verse where he's talking about ganking, but then he's choosing to have the whisper flow, and he's like, wait a minute, for some people to leave, I got another trick up my sleeve. And then he's going like, it's basically like he's in the house,
he's robbing.
like he's robbing as he's doing the interview. It's like, what? It's amazing. And then it goes in then to the third verse. She's like, you mean a 211? Yeah. And then that beat comes back, boom, and it's like, dude, it's just like amazing. And then he ends the song, she says, what's your real name, or what's your real age, or something like that.
What's your real name? No More Questions.
What's your real name? Yeah, No More Questions. And then boom, it's just like,
even though it's on the album cover, but
right, like,
or the back,
it's like amazing. And I don't know who was doing songs like this. I'm pretty sure Ice-T did it with Somebody's Gotta Do It, Pimpin' Ain't Easy, where he had the female interviewing him. So I guess he did it before Eazy-E, but Eazy-E's was also super fresh, super dope, awesome, and this is one of my picks. So like I said, man, you can ask me in a week and it'll be different. So what's your last one?
This was another song that I love, and I think is one of the best songs on the album, and it's something that always is, shout out to Jay Sands, that had me do similar thing where I interviewed him throughout his album. But I really always wished and want someday to do like a thing like the lady did with Eazy-E, like I did with Jay Sands, to do that with more artists, because I just think it'd be awesome. And since Eazy-E, I think, is one of the most important people in rap history, to be able to pay homage to him by doing that is something that I always, as a little kid, I thought about asking these guys stuff, and to be able to do it now professionally, but then also shout out Jay Sands and I Kill from Jurassic 5 for putting me on their albums and showcasing me, and Razkaz and Stat Quo, and people shouting me out in their songs. Like, that's an amazing thing, and it just shows the power of the music and visualizing stuff and trying to make it happen, and it's just awesome. So yeah, my third pick is a tough one, because like Amir, I have 5+ songs. I have more than Amir, actually, so there's more than 5 songs I would say are my best. And the only reason I'm not going to pick the Boyz-N-The-Hood remix is because, looking at this as a unit of songs I never heard before, I'd heard Boyz-N-The-Hood in a remix before I heard this album, so I kind of separate it a little bit as that had already existed. So I'm gonna go with Nobody Move. And this song to me is so phenomenal with Ren and Eazy. It's just the robbery element of it and the reveal of the woman with the mismatched parts. It was just like so mind-blowing to me and just ridiculous at the same time. But you know, it's one thing to be a gangster and like a gangbanger and all this stuff, which hadn't fully been explored with rap yet, but to be like, oh, I'm gonna rob people, this is a stick up and all that type of stuff, but then to actually detail the robbery and to like really go into make a song out of it. And I think it's Yellow Man that's sampled there. It's just, the whole thing about it is very, very shocking to me when I first heard it as a little kid, and then when you think about the detail and explanation and how he's like robbing and then he's like, oh, let me go get some real quick in the middle of the robbery. It's just like, the whole thing about it is just so weird and so interesting, but very creative and expertly, I would say, of course, expertly executed on the production side. And having these different voices and like they had like the walkie-talkie type of thing going on. It was just like, again, these guys made movies on songs. Like Eazy-Duz-It could have been a whole album worth of a song if they just extended it to make it a 40-minute song, which they could have by extending these parts. And Nobody Move is like a movie. I just thought it was crazy, and we get to really, the spotlight is obviously on Eazy-E, but it just showed the brilliance of the crew taking this story and making it into this cinematic marvel that we later see, I would argue, executed on Amir's favorite album all time, Death Certificate, where you see songs like My Summer Vacation or Live on Arrival, where they're taking these snapshots into these episodes and doing it at the super highest level. And I just thought Nobody Move was like a brilliant example of that, and an early example of that, because Schoolie D had Saturday Night, where he had these capers that he was going on. Of course, Ice-T had 6 in the Morning. We had Boyz-N-The-Hood already. And now, you know, in '88, we get all these other great stories from KRS-One and Public Enemy, or Boogie Down Productions, I should say, via KRS-One and Public Enemy. And Big Daddy Kane had several, EPMD with Jane. And we were just getting all these great stories. Slick Rick, of course. So, to add on to that, with Nobody Move, it was just astonishing.
I just want to say, man, just sitting here and these are things that I know, but just hearing you say all those names and songs and artists in succession, it's like, we're really spoiled, like, as fans. Like, what more can you ask for? It's just like,
yeah, man.
I'm happy you picked that one, because I actually didn't know if you were going to pick that, and to even take such a risk by thinking like a woman was so attractive, and then she takes off the panties and she's got, you know, the mismatched parts, as you said. It's like, wasn't that a risk? And he's like some gangster, and then he's like almost hooking up with a tranny. It's like, what?
The whole thing is just
it's just
crazy.
Like, it's this album. We can honestly do another Great Debaters and pick our favorite 3 songs.
We can do another,
and we can do another, exactly. So, yeah, I'm happy we did this one, man. This was great.
So those are my 3 picks. You guys got Amir's 3 picks. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share to both Unique Access and to Rapping and Snacking, and hit us in the comment section. We're sure this one's going to get a lot of response because A, the album's phenomenal, and B, I think Amir and I at least have 1, if not 2 songs that probably most people are not going to pick for their top 3 songs. So I'm interested to see what you guys are going to come with in the comment section. And also, thank you guys for supporting both Unique Access and Rapping and Snacking. Amir's got his shirt on. You can get the Unique Access shirts as well on BigHurt.com. We appreciate you guys, and shout out to Heath for the Slang Smith shirt. As always, represent for them. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
The Great Debaters, y'all.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
It would be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
What's that 5 on your MTV Raps with NWA?
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.